Hola, buenos días. Para esta lección vamos a hablar de los pronombres un poco más. We're going to take a further look at using pronouns in Spanish. Specifically, we'll be using both a direct and an indirect object pronoun in the sentences. Before we get to doing that, however, you need to have some knowledge of a rule when it comes to using accent marks in Spanish. There are a few rules. There really actually aren't that many rules of how to do accent marks in Spanish. I'm not going to do those in this video. That will come in another one. But I'm going to give you one of the rules, and this rule will help you to write your sentences not only correctly, but also with the accent mark as well. So the rule is, anytime in Spanish you have a word that is, say, 3 or more syllables long, if the stress of the word falls on the third syllable back from the end of the word, then you're going to put a written accent mark there. For example, you've probably heard the word in Spanish, vámonos, before. I think Dora the Explorer says it on her TV show. She might say vámonos. Now when you do that, vámonos is ba-manos. It's 3 syllables. The stress of the word is on the first syllable, the vámonos. Because the stress is on that syllable, there has to be a written accent mark there. So any word in Spanish that is 3 syllables or more and the stress falls on the third syllable back from the end, like ba, that's the third one back from the end, vámonos, you're going to put a written accent mark there. This rule is relevant to what we're going to be doing now today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 5 sentences, and you'll see how this rule comes into play right now. I'll walk you through how to do them with both the direct and indirect object pronouns, and I'll give you 5 of your own to do. Now before we do this, if you haven't learned how to do direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, and doing them both together, then this video will be extra hard for you. I'm going to assume at this point that you have learned or you've seen my videos on how to do direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, and how to do both direct and indirect object pronouns together in one sentence. So this time we're going to do I'm going to give you 5, and I'll walk you through them. Here we go. Okay, so for this first sentence, I have Estoy dando la cuenta a Pablo. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the direct object noun and the indirect object noun. I'm going to change them to pronouns, and I'm going to put them in the correct part of the sentence. I'm going to show you how to do these first 5 sentences. There's 2 ways I can rewrite them with both the pronouns in them. I'll give you the easy one first, and I'll show you the one that's a little more complicated using accent marks. So if I want to change la cuenta, the word the bill, to it, I would change to la. If I want to change Pablo to an indirect object pronoun, he would change to le. Now, your first option is always, with the exception of commands, but with regular stuff, your first option is always to put these things, the pronouns, in front of the conjugated verb. In this sentence, the conjugated verb is estoy. So you'd put la and le both in front of estoy. There's some changes that need to be made still. First of all, put people before things, so put the le in front of the la. And when you have the 2 L's together, the pronouns that both start with an L, le and la, the first one, the le, has to change to se. So your new sentence could read as, se la estoy dando. Now the second way I can write this sentence is since I have 2 verbs here, I have estoy and dando, I can attach the se and the la to the dando. Now when I do this though, it's going to make my that word dando much longer, and that's when the accent marks come into play. So your new sentence is going to be estoy dando se la. Now when we're doing accent marks, think about the word dando by itself, just by itself first. How do I say this word? I say dando, dando. Where's the stress? It's over the A. So if I say dando se la, if the stress on the word is 3 syllables back, 4 syllables back, 5 syllables back, doesn't matter. If it's 3 or more back, you're going to put the accent mark over that stressed syllable. So dando se la, the accent mark is going to be over the A. Estoy dando se la. That'd be like saying, I am giving it to him. Sentence 2. Estás pasando el balón a mí. So you're passing the ball to me. The balón, el balón will change to lo. A mí would change to me. Put people before things. The first way I could do this is I could say, me lo estás pasando. The second way I can do it is I can attach the me and the lo to pasando. Before we do that, think about how you say the word pasando. Pasando, pasando. The stress is over that second A. So, estás pasando me lo would be the word. And since the ando part, it's 3 or more syllables back, put a written accent mark on it. Number 3, estamos mandando las cartas a ellas. Las cartas would change to las, ellas would change to les. We'll put the people before things, so we have les and las. You can't have 2 L's together. So se las, your new sentence could be, se las estamos mandando. Now I can also attach these to the mandando. Think about how you say mandando, mandando, mandando. The stress is over the second A again. So I could have estamos mandando se las. The ando part, the AN, that stress is 3 or more back, so you're going to have the accent mark over that A. Estamos mandando se las. Okay? 4, very similar, just a tiny bit different in that I'm not using the doing, the present progressive anymore. I'm just using the what people are going to do. So voy a mostrar el arte a ellos. I'm going to show the art to them. The art would change to lo. A ellos would change to lace. You can't have the two L's together. So you could have lace and lo, change the lace to se. Your new sentence could be se lo voy a mostrar. Or, since I have two verbs, you have the option again. I can attach them to the end of that other verb, which is mostrar. Think about how you say mostrar before we do it. Mostrar, mostrar. The stress is over the AR at the end of it. So you would have voy a mostrar se lo. And the A on the second A, or the A on the mostrar is 3 or more syllables back from the end, so you would have an accent mark there. Single. Va a preguntar la hora a mí. La hora would change to la, a mí would change to me. I could put them both at the beginning and say me la va a preguntar. Or I can attach the me and the la to the preguntar. Think about how you say preguntar. Preguntar, preguntar. The stress is over the AR again. If I attach them, I have va a preguntarme la. Since the R part is 3 or more syllables back, add an accent mark to it. Va a preguntarme la. So if this isn't making sense yet to you, hopefully your teacher's doing this for you in class, because the more you do it, it seems like the majority of my students seem to pick it up really quick. This will be extra hard for you if you're a person who in class does not listen to your teacher all the time, because you need to be able to pronounce the words correctly in order to do these accent marks. If you can't pronounce them correctly, this is going to be much harder for you. So if you currently aren't a person that listens a lot in class, change your habits and listen more so that you can understand how the word is pronounced. Because if you can pronounce it correctly, you can do this accent mark thing correctly as well. So what I'm going to do for you right now is I'm going to put up 5 more sentences on the screen. Just be up for like 5 seconds. So when they come up, pause the video, write down one or both of the ways of how you can change these so that you can either put the pronouns before the conjugated verb, or if there's 2 verbs, you can attach them to the end of the second verb. And if you do that, think about accent marks as well. So here come the sentences, and then we'll go over them. Okay, so hopefully you took a second to try and rewrite those sentences. If you haven't done so now, just pause it before you start seeing the answers, write them down, and then I'm going to give you the answers right now. So the first one, está sirviendo la comida a ti. The la comida la, a ti te. So I could have te la está sirviendo. Or if I attach it to the second part, this is a little bit trickier because I have sirviendo has got the 2 vowels in there together. So you have to really think about how the word is pronounced. Sirviendo, sirviendo, está sirviendo te la. The accent mark would be over the E. 7. Estoy diciendo la verdad a ella. La verdad, la, a ella, le. Can have the 2 L's together, se and la. So you can have se la estoy diciendo, or estoy diciéndosela, estoy diciéndosela. 8. Van a recomendar el jamón a ti. El jamón, lo, a ti, te. Te lo van a recomendar. Te lo van a recomendar. O van a recomendártelo. Van a recomendártelo. El 9. Voy a traer las flores a ella. Las flores, las. A ella, le. Le, las. Can't have the 2 L's together, so you have se las. Se las voy a traer. O voy a traérselas. Voy a traérselas. Y el número 10. Van a enviar el paquete a nosotros. El paquete, lo. A nosotros, nos. Nos lo van a enviar. Nos lo van a enviar. O van a enviárnoslos. Perdón. Van a enviárnoslo. Van a enviárnoslo. So that's how you would do those. Hopefully this is kind of making sense to you. If it's not, ask your teacher in class maybe to give you more problems, more practice with them. Remember again, if it comes down to on a test or some sort of a quiz and you have to do these 2 pronouns at the same time, you can always put them in front of the conjugated verb and you're safe. I'm giving you the other way just because it's more knowledge for you. Also, when you start learning commands, the whole idea of syllables and having accent marks and using 2 pronouns together, you'll have to be able to do that when you're doing commands. You'll see why when you get to that point. So try and learn it now so when commands come, much easier. That's it. If you have any questions or requests or what have you, let me know and I will get back to you. Thanks.